everyone, welcome to another episode of Good Day Chula Vista, and today we are on episode 92.
Wow.
Yes, 92, yay! And we're getting closer to our 100. We're going to have a big celebration that day. We're going to give out tons of gift cards, probably over $1,000 in gift cards, so make sure you're making a comment every time we go live, because all those names, if you don't win the raffle that we do today, all those names go to that day. And just remember, it's going to be a big one that day, so celebrate with us. But let's have our intro video so that way we can get started. Thank you for joining us. And we're back. So I'm very excited because I know a lot of people, a lot of you are going to benefit from this interview. I have my friend, my favorite attorney, Lorena Salcedo.
Hello. Thank you.
Amiga, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. I love coming to your show.
I love it when you come because you know what? I am so blessed to have an attorney that I can call anytime and any questions, and for my clients, and I know that a lot of my clients have benefited from your services and all your knowledge. Thank you for always helping out.
Thank you for the referrals. I truly appreciate it.
Thanks. So today what we wanted to talk to you guys about, both of us, is we want to share. I know a lot of my clients, when they buy a house, they are not thinking about their family trust and what it's for. They think having a will is enough. So that's what Lorena is going to explain to us today. But for some of you that don't know who she is, let us have her tell us who she is.
Lorena Salcedo, and I've been practicing in the area of estate planning since 2010. I worked in the legal field for many years before that, and when I was 39, I decided to go to law school. And again, I've been practicing since 2010, and estate planning I thought would be a great area, a practice area to help people out. And that was my goal, to educate people and to help them, especially with estate planning, that a lot of people ignore how important it is.
Yeah, they do, because I'm one of those people that ignore that for many, many years until God bless me that I met Lorena. And I was like, yay. You know what, Adrian? We forgot to turn on the water fountain. Can you hear it, or are we okay? Can you guys hear the water fountain in the background, or is it clear, our voices? We're good? Okay. Veronica's out sick. Vero, I know you're watching us. We miss you. And as you know, you're not here. We forgot to turn off the water fountain. Who knows what else we forgot. But we have my niece Vivian here helping us in the background there.
Hello.
We have Gabby, little Gabby, and we have little Faby. So they're helping us. Make sure that you guys make a comment, because they're writing your names, anybody that makes a comment or ask a question.
Put the mic back.
Mic like this?
Yeah, like more in the middle. Yeah, no back.
Oh, this like this?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So make sure you make a comment, because then your names are going to be entered into the drawing for today. Last week we forgot. So anybody that made a comment last week is entered into today's drawing. Lorena, so tell us, because I know that most people think having a will is enough, because I think in Mexico having a will is enough, right?
That's correct. So they, unfortunately, they think that because it's all they need in Mexico, that's all they need here. And unfortunately, sometimes they aren't informed, and that's all they establish is a will. But here, to protect your assets, what you need is a trust. And a will may be sufficient in certain occasions. For example, if the assets are less than $150,000,
Okay.
then they don't need a trust. If they have accounts that they hold in joint tenancy, for example, a husband and wife are in a bank account together, then they don't need a trust, because once one of them passes, it goes to the survivor. And same thing with homes. It's fine to have a joint tenancy, but the thing is that if they're always together, if they're traveling together, something might happen to both of them. So then this is when it's important to have a trust. And also any other payable on death account, which could be a life insurance policy and or a 401k, then it's also important to designate the beneficiary, and then that way you avoid probate, and again, a will would be sufficient.
Okay, so besides that, you do recommend everybody else having a trust?
Yes, if you own a home, you definitely need a trust, because any real property will go through probate if there is no trust. And if you don't have a home and your assets are less than $150,000, again, a will is sufficient. And go ahead.
So, okay, so just so you guys can understand a little bit more, when you do a probate, the fees are a lot more than if you had a trust. So explain to us what a probate is and what expenses and what things they would pay if they go through a probate.
Okay, so when there's the probate is a process that goes through the court. So because there is no trust, then the judge needs to determine how the assets are going to be distributed, who they're going to name an administrator, because there's no trust naming a trustee. So they're going to name a trustee, an administrator, to handle all the transfer of the assets. And so the process can take 1 year to 3 years, depending on depending on how many assets and if there's anybody fighting anything and there family issues, and it could delay the process. And the fees are established by code, and it could get very expensive because the statutory fees are out of the first $100,000, it's 4%. The next 100,000 is 3%, and the following the up to 800,000 is 2%, and then from there on it's 1%.
Wow.
So
that's a lot of money that you would have to come out of pocket.
Right, and that's already 13. Let's say for assets valued at $500,000, that's already $13,000 for an attorney's fees, and still that same amount is going to go to the administrator that the judge selects for the probate. So
what if the family doesn't have that money to pay for that? Then what happens?
Well, it'll go out of the assets. So you're going to have to sell all the assets.
You'll have to sell the property.
Sell everything, yes. And then the funds will come out from there.
Now, let's see, if you didn't have a trust and the property has to go through probate, and let's say you have a house that you've owned for 20 years, 15 years, whatever years, and then you think, well, I have a will, it's going to go to my children, but now they're going through the probate, maybe your kids can, agree on who's getting what. So let's say it goes 1 to 3 years through probate. They still have to be paying the mortgage if there's a mortgage on it. Who pays for that mortgage? It could go to foreclosure?
Yes, if they stop paying it, it cancel. They need to make sure that they're paying the mortgage, the insurance, and keeping up with the payments. So the bank is going to want their money.
Right, so the bank is not going to hold off because of a probate going on.
Right, no.
No, they won't.
So, and then the other thing is that people ask me, what happens when we die? And it kind of reminded me right now. They say in a trust, and once it's in a trust, the property is in a trust, and we die, what's going to happen? Do they have to sell the property? And I tell them, no, you don't need to sell the property. As long as they're receiving the mortgage payments, that's all they care about. But if you stop making those payments, then that's when they're going to start the foreclosure proceedings. But if it's in a trust, then and they keep making the mortgage payments, then there's going to be no problem with the financial institutions.
Right. They're not going to ask you to
refinance
and get them out of the title. They'll continue with that same loan at that same rate.
Exactly. And that's one of the clauses in the trust, that it says that any agreements that you signed, then the successor trustee can continue on with those.
They honor them.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great. So they don't have to refinance and go with current rates, which
right?
will probably be higher. So let me kind of tell you why I got so excited about learning about the trust, and when I found out how it worked, because for me, I'm not an attorney, so even though I'm a broker, it's confusing when it comes to the law about taxes and all that information. So when Lorena explained it to me, this is the way I understood and then let me know if I still have it clear.
Okay.
So if I buy a house and I bought it for 100,000, and I've been paying that house, but now my house is worth 500,000, and I have it on a trust. So if I have a trust, when my kids inherit that property, they inherit that property as what it's worth today. So like if I gave it to them and in at 500,000 because that's what it's worth today, so they don't have to pay any taxes on the earnings or the equity that it made. They don't have to pay any taxes because they get it at the value it had when I passed away. If I don't have a trust and I only have a will and it needs to go through the probate, then the court is gonna say, well, she bought it at 100,000 and you guys are getting it now, and now it's worth 500,000. So there's a $400,000, gift that you're getting pretty much. So you guys have to pay taxes on those $400,000.
Capital gains. Mm-hmm.
Capital gain taxes, which is what percentage?
About 30%.
So 30% of 400,000. So there goes all my, encouragement.
Most of your equity.
Most of my equity that I've been working so hard to pay it off so my kids could inherit this property. But then I do so good doing that, but I don't get a trust. So then I just do the will. So there it goes. My kids get the property, and now they owe all this money, 30% of $400,000. There's no way they're going to have that money, so they're probably going to end up selling the property. And if my dream was for them to keep it forever for my grandkids, that's not going to work. So I think that's what people don't understand, right?
There's so many benefits to having a trust, and one of them is that they get to step up in basis. So the basis goes from the 100,000 to the current market value for the beneficiaries. And, also it's private. So once it gets probated, everything's public record. Everybody is going to find out your business, how much you have or had, and so it's saves you that, and it maintains it private. And then also you have control, and it's very important because what if you have a child that you want to disinherit? And you didn't do a trust, but the court doesn't know that.
Right.
And so all the children are going to get everything in equal shares.
Mm-hmm.
And then another benefit is we're dealing a lot with children with autism or any other type of special needs. So there's a special needs trust that needs to be established, because if they inherit money and it's not in a special needs trust, then the government is going to stop all their benefits until they have used up all that money.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, and so if you have it in a special needs trust, you only use it for the things that the government doesn't provide, then there's no conflict and they don't lose that money.
Wow.
And so that's yet another benefit. And then also, for example, and I emphasize this to my clients, if they have IRAs or life insurance policies, it's good to name your beneficiaries and your contingent beneficiaries. But if your contingent beneficiaries are minors, then it's best to name the trust as a contingent beneficiary, because then if it goes to the contingent beneficiaries, the trustee will be able to manage that money. And if it's not in a trust, then they're going to have to set up a special trust, and somebody else is going to manage it, and then the trustee and the trust will have the discretion to use that money for their health maintenance and support. And then whereas over here in the this trust established outside, then they will have no control
over that.
Mm-hmm. So many benefits to having a trust.
A trust.
Besides the peace of mind.
Yes. Now, I know there's different kinds of trust, like you were saying, in revocable, and then what
Irrevocable.
Irrevocable?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So irrevocable means that that you can't make any changes, you can't cancel it. It's like set in stone. Once you establish it, you can't do anything to it. And those types of trusts are rare, but I have seen them, and then those are usually done, for example, during a divorce. And it's kind of the court saying, okay, this is gonna go to your children, and it's gonna go in irrevocable trust, and then that way they can't touch anything that they leave to the children.
Oh, okay.
So nobody can touch it.
Then if you get married again or whatever happens,
They
this
still,
is
exactly. Then it's a protection for the children.
irrevocable.
Yes.
Okay.
And then some people just want to establish them because they say, oh, I'm not going to make any changes, so might as well do it and do it irrevocable trust. And actually, if you put a home in an irrevocable trust, then it's just protected there, and nobody can touch it. So, but I usually recommend the revocable ones. That way, they can change it and make any amendments
Right.
that they want.
Exactly.
Circumstances change all the time, so.
In case I get
It's
mad
nice
at one of
to
my
look
sons and they marry the girl I don't like. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Put
I
a
would
clause
never-
in there. No, just
I
kidding. You
know.
can't.
So, Lorena, besides like people not knowing what the benefits of having a trust, hopefully they're learning that how important it is to have it. Maybe they're afraid that it's too expensive.
It depends. A lot of my clients come to me, and when I tell them how much I charge, they're overjoyed because they've been already
I
to
can
see.
imagine.
They've been to seminars. They've been to see other attorneys, and they're charging $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for something that I charge less for. And so you can shop around and negotiate. If an attorney says, well, it's $3,000, you can say, no, well, is it okay if I pay, $1,500 instead or something? And you never know,
Yeah.
if they're going to accept or not, if they're in need or not. Most likely they won't, but still, just like with in real estate, then they can negotiate the commission, and same thing with attorney's fees. They're always free to negotiate.
Lorena's the best for prices. I can guarantee that.
Thank
Guys,
you.
I never got the iPad so I could see who's joining me live. See, Vero, we miss you. I don't even have an iPad. Thank you, hermosa. Okay, because I want to see who's here watching us. Don't you want to know?
Yes.
Okay, let's see.
See if my.
Sorry,
peeps are
guys,
there.
I hadn't said hi because. Okay, so we have Osiris Gonzalez. Thank you, Osiris, for joining us. We have Erika Gutierrez. We have Marta Garcia from California Preferred Escrow. Thank you so much. We have Veronica Cabrera. Veronica Nunez. It's Vero. Hey. She has her new Facebook. Sergio Palomino. Hey, great topic. Yes, make sure you take notes for your clients. Salma Barron. Hey, hermosa. Carolina Palafox, mi sobrina hermosa. Make sure you have your trust. Si no, dile Junior, you guys need to get one. Make sure you get her number. Erika, great information. Vivian, thank you. Karen, Lorena is the best attorney to create your trust.
Thank you, Karen.
Yes. I think you were going to update Karen's, right? Because Karen's was like 55 years old at trust. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, I did.
Oh, you did already?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good job, Karen.
That's why she's saying that.
Protect your investment and call her today. That's what Karen said.
Yes, thank you.
Not expensive at all considering the insurance you have with the trust. Yeah. What is the difference between a trust and a will? It's because she just joined right now on the show, but we did cover that. Maybe we can cover that again. Jesse Angeles. Jesse, also you're a homeowner now and you have your son. So make sure you call Lorena and get more information about getting a family trust. God forbid something happens to you. You want to make sure that all your assets are protected and the government doesn't end up taking most of the profit. And you are doing fine. Oh, that's Vero because she's not here. We are doing okay.
But it took 3 to replace her. So
Yes. It's taking 3 people to replace you, Vero. And look, we're still like... Okay, so...
I want to take an opportunity to say something, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you that have referred me. There's a lot of agents that have referred me, and I don't even know them. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate that you trust me, and I do my best to take care of your clients, and I hope they're happy with my services.
Yeah, I can tell you that everybody says wonderful things about you because you do put a lot of love into everything you do. You really care about listening to their needs and to their situation, and you meet them at their house, or you're so flexible. And I think that that shows. And you're always caring, like with me, like, Faby, we need to update your trust.
I'm always nagging everybody.
I know, like today I needed my trust because, as you guys know, I'm selling my house and buying another one, so it's under the trust. And I'm like, oh my God, my trust, I need which section. It's like a whole binder, and you're like, oh, you only need this. And guess what? Lorena emailed it to me, so I was so happy.
Glad I could help.
Hi, Mia. Hi, Eric. Thank you for watching us. Make sure you guys are taking notes, and if you don't have your family trust, that you're paying attention. So let's just go over Karen's question. Like, what's the difference between a trust and a will here in the U.S.?
So if you have assets that are over $150,000 in value, you need a trust. And if you don't have a trust, if you just have a will, then you will need, your beneficiaries or your heirs will have to go to probate to get those assets. And actually, 150,000 is a cutoff, because if they're less than 150,000, all they need is a document called affidavit pursuant to Probate Code Section 13100, and that basically says that the person passed away, they are the only beneficiary and the only heirs, and there's no probate proceedings, and that they have the rightful owners of the accounts or whatever they are requesting. So with this affidavit, if the assets are less than $150,000, that's all they need to claim those accounts or benefits.
How old should you be before you get your trust? Do you think it's just for older people or younger? How young can you get it?
Well, you need to be at least 18 because it's legal documents that you're signing, and you need to have the capacity to sign them. But if you're 18, you own a home, you definitely need a trust. If your assets are more than 150,000, you need a trust. So I guess you can be as young as 18.
I got a call from one of my cousins, and I sold her house a while back. And she called me because I think I gave her your number. She said she was going to call you because I don't know what happened, but she was worried about something. She's like, oh, you know what, Faby, I just want to make sure, like, I have a will and I know, what do I need to do? And I'm like, no, you need a trust. And she's like, oh, okay, see, I'm glad I called. So I gave her your number. Hopefully she probably already called you. But I think sometimes we just think about these things when we get older.
Yes. So I always tell my clients, usually I get the calls when somebody's going to have an emergency surgery, when somebody's going to go on vacation, or when they've heard a bad probate experience, or when they've heard of somebody passing, somebody young passing. And we never know, what can happen. I'm not sure if I told you the previous time I was here, but we were feeling healthy, everything was great, and then my husband gets diagnosed with cancer, and then 4 months later I get diagnosed with cancer, and we're still considered, not young, but still young, not old enough to be having so many health issues. So luckily and thanks to God, we're fine, but you just never know. And I was telling you about someone that mentioned a 45-year-old person that had an aneurysm and just suddenly so it's better to be prepared and not leave these headaches and to the family. And I know we're just talking about wills, but also I've been getting a lot of calls about power of attorneys and advanced healthcare directives, and even if you don't have any assets, you still need a power of attorney and advanced healthcare directive, because if you don't and you suddenly have dementia or any type of mental incapacity, then your family would need to go to court to ask for a conservatorship. So that's also very important. We
should do another show to talk about all the benefits and consequences of not having a power of attorney. Oh, let's do that. Because I don't know all the rules and the laws for the power of attorneys, and sometimes I heard they can sell a house and everything, and that's all they need for somebody else, right? The power of attorney,
yes.
So, yeah, let's do one, because I really need to get informed. I need education on that.
Okay.
So Lorena, once you do, so let's say I have my trust, and which I do, and I pass away, but then nobody knows I have a trust. So once I get my trust, what should I do?
So it depends. People are sometimes very secretive and don't want anybody to know. And
Nobody knows they have
nobody
one.
knows there is one. But I tell them, okay, well, don't put it, don't hide it, and in a place where nobody's going to find it, because if they don't know, if nobody knows that there is one to look for,
They'll go
a trust
to
to look for,
probate.
it's going to go to probate.
Right.
So I always tell them, if nobody knows, just leave it in a place secure, you know, not that everybody can see, but someplace that it's secure and safe. Safe deposit box is fine. Again, if somebody knows to look for it there, and if they
Right.
have authority to go into the safe deposit box.
Why would people hide it?
I don't know. Like I said, they get very secretive, and sometimes they don't want their children to know. Most of them want or let the children know. Sometimes they ask me, "Can you go ahead and email them a copy of the documents?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And so I do that for them. But other times they're very private. I guess for the same reason that they're reluctant to do a trust. They might think that that's too final for them, or I don't know really what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But I advise my clients to make sure to leave it in a place where somebody can find it. And anyway, once they go looking for your assets, if you own a home, they're going to see that's in a trust. So
Right.
that's going to be an indication
To
on the
go find the
quitclaim deed
trust.
that there is one, and they should look everywhere for it.
Right, because this trust is not recorded anywhere in the city, or nobody has a copy. Only you have a copy, and your
Right.
attorney, hopefully.
Right.
Like my attorney. As well. I told
Yes.
Adrian and Carlos, like, if something ever happens to me, you guys go looking for Lorena, because she would know what to do. So it's important that if you guys don't want to just leave it at home, that somebody you trust knows. And the thing is that you don't know if that person, something happens to that person, make sure you have somebody else that knows where
A
it's at.
backup.
Yeah, make sure you have a backup, because like we said, you know, especially if they're traveling or having surgery, they want to have it available to make sure.
Yeah.
So where is a good place to keep it? You said maybe the
Safe deposit
Safe
box.
deposit.
I would say maybe in a closet, where it's kind of hidden, but
Mhm.
not
Too
that
hidden.
hidden, because that's where people start looking. I had a client that was going through everything because they didn't know if there was a trust, and so she was going through everything through the closet. There were boxes, so they go through everything. But I think the closet is one of the first places that they
people
would
look. Yeah, I think so, because that's where we hide everything.
Shh, don't tell them.
Or in a trunk in the car.
Oh no, don't hide it in your trunk.
Don't keep it in the car.
No.
Yes, I think it's important that somebody knows about it. Okay, so let's see what we cover. So why it's important to have a trust instead of a will is because this is not Mexico. In Mexico, a will is enough, but here in the U.S., you want to make sure you have that trust. It's not. It wouldn't be fair that the government gets to keep all the profit from, you know, all your
hard
assets that
work.
you've been working so hard to have, and then they just keep it all. And the will, it's good inside, it's good enough, but just so you're not guessing, if you have a question, they can call you and ask you, right?
Absolutely, yes. And I never charge for my consultation, so feel free to call me, schedule an appointment. You can email me, you can text me. I'm always, if I don't answer immediately, I will, if you send me a text, I'll reply.
Right. I always tell them that text her, because you don't know where she's at, and if she's with a client, she's not gonna obviously pick up her phone. So just text her, tell her what it's about, and then she'll call you back. She always does. And if you email her, she'll email. I always like to text. I think it's better.
It's easier. And then, like if I'm in a client meeting and I see a text, I always check to make sure that it's not an emergency, because I have my three daughters. But I do read it, and then sometimes I'll forget. But so if I didn't reply to you within 24 hours, text me again, and I apologize if that happens.
Right. No, that's never happened to me. I'll keep calling.
Yes.
I'm not gonna wait.
Yes.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil. That's what I've learned for a long time. My district manager used to say that, like, Well, Faby, you only called once, so we gave those hours to some other store that kept calling. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Squeaky wheel gets the oil. That was Estelle. She used to tell us that. Okay, so I think we covered everything, right?
I think so.
If you guys have any questions, make sure you call Lorena. And what is your number? Let me write it here.
619
Let me see. 619
607
607
0523.
Okay, so there it is. And then you can go in there and reply also later, so that way you can put your information. And make sure you add her. You do have a Facebook page, right?
I do.
Okay, Lorena Salcedo. Make sure you guys find her, add her, and keep her number handy, because you never know when you're going to need an attorney. And, you know, if you're buying property, definitely call her and find out what's the thing to do.
And remember, your parents need powers of attorney and advanced healthcare directives. Very important.
Yeah, power of attorney. So we'll have a show on that next. We're gonna schedule her before she leaves. So we want to learn more about power of attorneys, because I don't really know anything about those. Okay, Lore. So do you have anything going on in real estate? Since we're here, any listings coming up?
Actually, I have one coming up in Otay Ranch. Thank you for the opportunity to plug it in. In Otay Ranch, and can I say the address?
Yes.
Okay, 1422 Bridal Veil. And also have a listing in Calexico. I don't know if any of you know where that is, but it's my rancho, it's my hometown. And so I have a lot of business there. I help family and friends with the purchase and sale of homes down there. And right now I have a listing. It's a beautiful 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. And if you're interested, give me a call.
What are the prices over there for a 5-bedroom?
This one is $355.
Wow.
I know, it's
5
like half.
bedrooms, $355. If you don't mind the heat.
Large lots, I know. If you don't mind the 120-degree weather.
People get used to it, right?
We were used to it until I moved to San Diego, and I'm like, I'm never going back.
I know, you get used to the nice weather. How about the one here in Otay Ranch? How much is that one going to be? Do you know yet?
Yes. Oh, can I get my phone?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Sorry.
So she can tell us she has this new listing coming up.
I'll be putting it on my page too.
While she looks for that, let me tell you, we have one in Logan. It's kind of a cul-de-sac. It's a very private area, 92113 off 43rd Avenue. And it's 810 Payne Avenue. 4 bedrooms with an optional 5th, and it's listed for $479 to $499. So make sure that you call me if you're interested in that one. We're gonna hold it open this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 4.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so it will be listed at $599.
$599. It's a house.
It's a house.
3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So make sure you call her if you are interested.
Has a beautiful kitchen. It's
upgraded.
Yeah, and it's close to a great school, so it's it's a great community and a wonderful school district. So
Otay Ranch is
is
nice schools,
Yes.
good school district. Okay, guys. Well, today we're not gonna forget to do the drawing like we forgot last time. I'm sorry about last week. People were like, "Hey, where's our gift cards?" All right. So here we are, and we're gonna have Lorena do the honors. Let's see who the winner is
Do
gonna
I
be.
say it? Do you say it?
Yes, you say it. This is a Starbucks gift card, by the way.
Veronica Cabrera.
Pero! Yay! Hopefully you feel better knowing that you get a free
Yes,
Starbucks.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get one more.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna do 4. Yeah, that's true. We're gonna do 4 because last week we didn't do it. Okay.
Sergio.
Sergio
Sergio
Palomino.
Bailador.
Yay! Okay. Let's see, one more. Oh, I'll do it. You can open another one.
Oh, one
Lore.
more?
Yeah, because there's 4.
Okay.
So, Jesse Angeles, yay! 1 Starbucks coming your way. Let's see who that is. Lots of gift
Da,
cards
da, da,
today.
da. Where's the
Ta-da-da.
drum?
Let me see. Let me do the drum.
Ana Martinez!
Yay, Ana!
Awesome.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Lorena.
Thank you,
Thank you for
again
coming.
for the invite, and I
Thank-
look forward to coming back.
Of course, yes. So she'll be back to talk about power of attorney. So now you know, get a family trust, call her. And we will see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Don't forget we have a date. Don't forget to share this video with this valuable information. Thank you guys also
Thank
for helping
you.
us.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.